Well, good evening from the sled shed. What we're working on today is a 2012 Polaris Ranger 800 that I took in on trade last week. It was used on a ranch, so you could say it was sort of ranched out. So it come to me as a non-runner, and we're going to show you what I found was the problem. I worked on it for probably 2 days. Everything would light up, the dash, lights and everything worked, but it would not start. It would not get power to the solenoid. So I finally come to the conclusion that it was the CDI box, or they call them a different name on these Rangers, but it's basically the brains of the unit. So I ordered that in and found a used one for a Razor, supposedly it's supposed to work. Got it here, put it on, same thing, nothing. So needless to say, I was getting a little torqued with this machine. And with these Polaris Rangers, they do have a fuse block. And when I was messing around changing fuses, I happened to break one of these. And these square ones, I would say they're more relays than anything. So this one, I broke the top off. I took my tester and was just goofing around and stuck it in there. And I heard the fuel pump start up. So that told me she's getting power. So I finally figured out that this relay is bad, because sometimes it would start and sometimes it wouldn't, so it's a sticky relay. And you know, these are $56 a piece if you buy them from Polaris. So I went online and found a used harness that had the whole fuse block on it yet, and bought that for $100, so it's still cheaper than buying each fuse, or relay, I guess you would call them. So hopefully that fixes it up. And the belt on it was terribly loose. It didn't have any power. The belt was basically shot. So hopefully when I get the relays and the belt, that it will be able to go. But another problem with these Rangers is the plastic seats on the bases on them. This one does have the metal posts on it, but as you can see, it's all cracked and the base kind of sags down, so they sit terrible when they're like that, and you cannot find a replacement. They want like $900 for them, so it's fairly ridiculous. So I happened to find this, I do have this aluminum plate. It's about as thick as a road sign. And actually, I think that's kind of what it was, the backing to a road sign. But it's fairly thick, and it's aluminum. So I took my trusty zip tool here and cut out a piece to fit on the bottom. Nothing fancy, cut a hole here. And when it sets on the seat base here, it's sitting on these cross members, so it really works. The bottom is flat again, and you sit up like you're supposed to. I mean, this is ridiculous that Polaris makes something like this so junky. Basically a $10,000 rig with a $2 plastic seat in it. It's just ridiculous that you have to go ahead and repair this. This one, I mean, this unit is only 3 years old, and you have to do something like this to it already. I think Polaris should be a little ashamed. And also, while working on this unit, I was down in one area and I found parts that were marked Slovakia, India, China, and the Ranger is made in Mexico. And Polaris is based out of Minnesota. So to me, that is fairly ridiculous too. But I did find this this bed liner, spray on bed liner, so I put it on the bumper bars and everything, and the plastic was kind of faded out, and it really makes it look nice. Gives it the color and a little texture, covers up a lot of the scratches. So I'm doing the body here. You can see I got the decals taped off, but I also do have new decals because they're fairly scratched up. But I don't like to ride around in anything ratty looking, so I want it to look good. Today I messed around with this back plastic, took it off and cleaned it. And, you know, it's not perfect, it's got a lot of scratches in it, but it sure does look a lot better than it did. Here's the end gate after I put the texture on it. So, but mainly I wanted you to see how I'm fixing these seat bases. I'm sure there's a lot of other folks out here with the same problem. And then I use these rivets like this, and my rivet gun, and I have an air rivet gun that works really good. So, you know, it holds it on there, but you know, it's not real important because you're sitting down on it, so the pressure is down on the plate, and it's sitting on the angle line all the way around, so it does make a nice base for that. So I just wanted somebody, if they got the same problem, see what I done. Thank you.